Home Again is a common kinetic auto rifle obtained all the way back during the Red War. It's incredibly satisfying to use and one of the best kinetic auto rifles out there for PvP. Chances are you've probably never heard of this weapon, and if you have, you're probably wondering why anyone in their right mind would recommend a common drop. Those are all good questions that I hope I can answer. Perhaps I may even convince you to give it a go for enjoyment's sake. This video will cover its stats and perk pool, weapon behavior, obtainability, recommended rolls, and overall performance in both PvE and PvP activities. By the end of this, hopefully you'll have just a little more information to work with when making your next build. Let's break this down. At base, Home Again has 17 range, 45 stability, 33 handling, 42 reload speed, 48 magazine size, 66 aim assistance, 0 airborne effectiveness, 16 zoom, and 73 recoil direction. It is a 720 rounds per minute rapid fire frame with a base damage fall off of 21.27 meters. In PvP, it deals 20.1 crit and 13.4 body, needing 10 crits to kill with a time to kill of 0.77 seconds. The PvE damage was not tested as this is a common weapon and therefore not able to be infused. Compared to the average kinetic legendary 720 auto rifle, Home Again is significantly weaker in every single base stat except for zoom and recoil direction. The 16 zoom is the default for 720 autos and the recoil direction is 20 to 30 points higher than everything else. Nonetheless, compared to the legendary options, Home Again feels noticeably heavier and jumpier. So why am I recommending it? We'll get to that later. In terms of perks, there are only 3. In the first column are 2 sights, the Model 8 Red and the IS-2 Classic. In the second column is accurized rounds, and that's it. That's all this weapon has in terms of perks. It is a common weapon. There are no third and fourth column perks. The key here is the first column. With the exception of Guiding Star, this is the only 720 auto rifle to get sights. Guiding Star may be legendary, but it was made unobtainable long ago, plus it had a recoil direction of 40. The Model 8 Red brings the zoom to 18, the highest zoom available for rapid fire frame auto rifles. This gives Home Again a surprisingly high effective range and also a very unique feel to use. Let's get into that. All weapon footage and testing has been done on mouse and keyboard. After playing a good few games with Home Again, I can say that it's a pretty unique experience. It's just different enough compared to other 720 auto rifles to feel like its own weapon. The somewhat low handling and stability make it feel like a weapon that you have to almost wrangle to get to work for you. It's not clean and snappy like Austringer or crisp and precise like the Messenger. What it is, however, is a weirdly smooth bullet hose. With the Model 8 Red and accurized rounds applied, Home Again gets 40 range and 18 zoom with damage fall off starting at 27.91 meters. Auto rifles also have very forgiving damage and aim assist fall off, and I was getting kills comfortably at around 30 meters or more. If you had your reticle on target and kept it on target through the recoil and target movement, it feels like you can beam just about anything from anywhere. It's certainly not pulse rifle range, but it's better than the old 17 zoom multi-mach, and it's incredibly satisfying. At really long ranges, the kick and accuracy cones do make it a lot less accurate, but nonetheless, I feel beaming somebody with this weapon is just a little more satisfying than any other auto rifle or SMG I've ever used. It reminded me of other first-person shooters that made their weapons feel a little more impactful, like spraying somebody down with an AK in Counter-Strike. As far as I'm aware, just about every Guardian should have Home Again in their collections. It was introduced in the Red War, and I'm pretty sure nowadays it just drops when you're leveling up a new Guardian. While I have no idea how you would get one to drop at power level, if you ever just wanted one to use in control or even comp, you can just grab it from the collections. There are no PvE rolls or performance testing for Home Again. It is a common weapon. It cannot be infused, and it has no third or fourth column perks. There is no reason to ever use this in PvE activities for anyone who isn't a new light. If someone somehow kills Taniks with this thing, they get brownie points in my book, but there is no reason to use this in PvE. All weapon performance testing has been done without weapon boosting exotics such as Ophidian Aspects or Dragon's Shadow. A lot of the unique traits and feel of Home Again have already been covered earlier, but there's some room for elaboration. First off, the entire appeal of this weapon is the Model 8 Red sight. The IS-2 Classic does not increase zoom, and using that sight just means you are left with a bad auto rifle with nothing special. Also, you can't really use it in trials. I'm sure this was obvious, but I feel I should mention it nonetheless. With the right sight, it can fit into the same role as a pre-changed God roll multi-mock. Less range than hand cannons, but the difference is small enough to where you can easily get your preferred range. With 18 zoom, however, you can run into issues at really close ranges. Tracking can be harder when your targets are too close, so either keep your proper range or have something like a shotgun. With mid-range options such as this, you have the potential to pair it with both close and long-range secondaries. Shotguns, rapid-fire fusions, sniper rifles, Le Mans Arc, fighting line, anything you like really. Home Again is a very unique auto rifle with some rare strengths. This is a weapon where, despite all of its downsides, the right archetype and one singular stat made it worth looking at least in my eyes. It's smooth and satisfying to use, and I also find it to be an endearing callback to when the game was new and some rare weapons, like the Sondak C and the Allegro 34, were genuinely strong in the Crucible. If you are out of things to do in PvP and want to try something new and fun, perhaps give this auto rifle a try. If you've enjoyed this video, feel free to drop a like, subscribe if you want more, comment below what other weapons you'd like to see, or any other changes you'd want to suggest for videos in general. Thank you, and take care.